We are live. Let's see, are we live everywhere? We're live some places. It's always Instagram, man. Instagram makes going live hard. Shame on you, Instagram. I'm going to switch Instagram for TikTok. I'm just kidding. Don't let the algorithm hear me say that. What's up, y'all? I'm coming to you remote. This is not my normal digs. As a matter of fact, if you stick around, I will give you a tour. I'm in a suite. Lucky me. I'm in a suite at the Gaylord Hotel in Nashville. If you're in or around Nashville and you want to come check out the Driven Mastermind, it's not too late. Mastermind starts tomorrow. Although tonight we have rented out the entirety of the Parthenon. Apparently they rebuilt the Parthenon since we needed to. And they rebuilt it in Nashville of all places. And so we've rented out the Parthenon. We're going to hang out there, hors d'oeuvres and drinks and whatnot. And then Driven starts tomorrow at the Gaylord. If you want to come check out the Driven Mastermind, swing down, hit me up, message me. And it's the greatest mastermind in the world, no big deal. Oh, great big deep breath. This is the Daily Sigh. If you're an entrepreneur trying to keep up with what actually matters, this is for you. I go live every business day at 6 p.m. Eastern. That's right now. And to the best of my ability, I give you everything that I think matters in the entrepreneurial world. That's across business, AI, markets, platforms, and policies, all in 15 minutes or less, which is actually hard. If we haven't met, my name is Qasim. I'm a welfare baby turned self-made millionaire, and I help entrepreneurs who have a real business but want clearer steps, better tools, and smarter ways to grow in a post-AI world. And all of my content is and always will be free. My goal in life is to help you achieve your definition of freedom. If you want the Daily Sigh delivered directly to your inbox, you can go to dailysigh.ai and subscribe. Let's dive into everything that happened because it's a lot, y'all. Like these. Today of all days, actually, I feel like has been maybe one of the biggest needle movers in the entrepreneurial 2026. So the first and most important story is not a fun one, but it's one you have to pay attention to. The Department of Labor just published a lawsuit prevention playbook, and you have to pay attention to this. This is the thing. Even small businesses, if you're in the U.S. especially, actually U.S. and Europe, I don't know about Latin America, or Asia, y'all can tell me. Hit me in the comments if you're in either of those places. But this is one of those places where small businesses can get nailed. As often as not, we're tempted to think like, oh, I can fly under the radar when it comes to most, rules and regs. Employment is not one of them. So if you think you have a bunch of contractors, you actually might have a bunch of employees. If you have one employee, you might need to go and just check the definition. So the Department of Labor dropped 2 new guidelines today aimed at clarifying what they're calling employer responsibilities to reduce common legal disputes. Translation: they just tightened the rules and handed out the checklist they will use when someone complains. Forgive me. This is not employee versus contractor. That's the headline everybody's arguing over, of course, and that's the way it's kind of always been. But this is the government doing their best to start to mitigate some of the gray areas, documentation, responsibility chains. Your risk is in being casual. The people that get sued here aren't getting sued because they're evil. They're getting sued because they got sloppy, to be honest with you. Delegate without clarity, assume good intentions. If you're hiring humans, you need to be really clear on who it is that you're hiring. So action plan for you is audit your classifications. And if you don't know how to do this, the GPTs, man, go straight AI. Take what it is that the DoD dropped and then load it into whatever AI tool you talk to the most and say, hey, am I at risk here? Chances are if it has enough context in your business, it's able to tell you right away. And if it doesn't, it'll ask or at least walk you through it. So please don't sleep on that. Y'all, this next story is going to blow my mind, and I'm so excited for this. Netflix, get this, is coming for YouTube. Netflix is coming for YouTube. Netflix wants to begin to encroach upon the video podcast arena. If you don't know, YouTube is actually the #1 podcasting network on the planet. You'd assume it would be Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It's not. It's YouTube. By a lot, by the way. By a really significant amount. And now Netflix, they last night signaled its video podcast push by airing the Bill Simmons podcast after the Golden Globes. It's also rolling out 34 video podcasts this month and has struck deals with iHeart, Barstool, and The Ringer. I don't know who Barstool or The Ringer are, but I know who iHeart is. Maybe y'all know. I don't know. This isn't media people having fun deal making. This is a platform land grab. And it's really important to and for you because I think niche podcasters are positioned for acquisition. And it might not necessarily be by Netflix. I think what ends up happening is Netflix starts to set the stage for what looks like um, assets unto themselves. Most of us treat podcasts as feeder marketing channels. And I think this is the first, it's not that it hasn't happened before, but this is um, the mainstream flag being planted in terms of the podcast really being valuable unto itself. Netflix is trying to boost its daytime viewing, which it's always struggled with, steal long form attention hours from YouTube, which YouTube is the king of, and pull in as much of the user base as they possibly can from a retention standpoint. If you don't have a podcast, I've been saying this forever and a day. If you want to build authority, run a podcast. A podcast is great because it's multimodal, it's video and it's audio and it's long form and it can be shut down to short form, and it's the easiest thing in the whole wide world to repurpose. So I think this is amazing news for small business owners, especially, and for anybody who really, really, truly is an authority in their space. Launch a podcast. Rapid fire. Apple partners with Google. Gemini is coming to Apple Intelligence and Siri. This blows my mind because Apple is shockingly behind in the AI space race. And instead of building out their own AI, they're just punting, which is interesting. They are, however, punting to who I'd recommend them punt to, which is Google. I think Google is I'm very long on Google. And so, Apple and Google have had a tumultuous relationship in the past, this weird kind of symbiotic hatred of each other. Apple tried to replace Google search and then just went with Google search, and then replace Google Maps and went with Google Maps, and then replace Google's browser and then went with Google's browser. And, here we are again. It should be worth noting for small businesses because the iOS ecosystem houses the most affluent and adept users on the planet. To be honest with you, it's everybody with expendable income for the most part is on iOS, and I realize that there are exceptions that prove the rule, and that's more or less true. So if Google is going to be native now from an AI perspective, I'd start paying a lot of attention to optimizing for Google's AI, which is different than ChatGPT and Claude and Perplexity for all those reasons. Shout out to Workflow Chairman. Thanks for being here. Christine Marie, so glad that you're here. NYA Parker 32. Hi. What else? Trump proposes a 10% credit card interest rate cap. Whether or not that gets passed is a whole other story. But if that happens, I'd be worried about my e-com folks. I think you'd be shocked at the impact. Or actually, maybe you wouldn't be, but I think the rest of the world would be shocked at the impact that could have on small e-commerce brands, because so much of that industry is driven by this available liquidity that's credit backed, and those credit card companies are not going to they're not going to make that available if he were to down regulate their ability to monetize that lending. Because 10%, that's high risk profile, and 10% isn't going to cut it. So we'll see what happens there. If you're in the e-commerce space, pay attention to that. That's a tighten your belt moment for anybody in e-com, especially if you're in the expendable. And you're selling stuff that folks just don't necessarily have to have, which is most of us. The number one tax trap for growing business is, that was my best attempt at a drum roll. It's the wrong entity structure. Go check out your entity structure. Talk to a real CPA. Talk to somebody who actually knows what the hell they're doing. There's a lot of them. Ryan Bakke, my buddy, Neil McSpadden, my buddy, Matt Nye, my buddy. Like there's a lot of really, really, really brilliant finance people out there that know what the hell they're doing. And make sure that you're structured the way that you're supposed to be structured. You will spend more money on taxes than any other single bill in your life. And yet most of us, myself included, spend so little really on tax strategy. It's absurd. It's stupid. It's silly. Last rapid fire story. And this is one that excites me. I don't know if it'll excite you. But I think this is it should be an amazing domino tip. X is open sourcing its recommendation algorithm. Elon Musk says X will publish the code for organic and ad recommendations within a week. Now, if that's true, that's very rare transparency. And I think what it'll do is it'll take XAI and push it to the forefront of all of the Western built AIs. China, interestingly, has already been outsourced or has already been open source, which is, a role reversal for both. I don't know what to refer to it as other than just statecraft, right? It's like normally they're the closed source and we're the open source. That would be the capitalist and communist ethos, and yet here we are, having switched. Open source is the way to reach social permeation and penetration, obviously. And doing this, I think, is such a strategic move by Elon, who's just the smartest human in the whole wide world. That's it. Actually, that went by a lot faster than I thought it would. So now I'm going to give you all a tour. Before I do, don't forget, subscribe. If you want the Daily Sigh directly in your inbox, you can go to dailysigh.ai. Follow me here, message me here. If there's something I missed that you think I should have gone over, please let me know. And because I have 5 minutes to spare, I'm going to be obnoxious and check this out, y'all. So I'm at the Gaylord in Nashville. I love the Gaylord. I've been to the Gaylord in DC and the Gaylord in Dallas-Fort Worth, but the Gaylord in Nashville is the biggest Gaylord. So first of all, you can't really see my view. I guess you kind of can. The Gaylord's claim to fame is these massive, massive, massive atriums. Every Gaylord is built around the atrium. And then here's the suite of the Gaylord. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but I've got this fun little cool living room thing, a fireplace that I still have not figured out how to turn on. I was just at my dining room, as you'll see. Here's my fancy desk for doing fancy desk stuff. Here is a random counter for no reason that means nothing. There's self-important, obnoxious blowhard. Here's a bathroom. And then all these sinks. So like there's a sink and then there's a sink. The Gaylord is really very generous with their sink space. There's Dr. Seuss's couch, which is awesome. Here's painting and a foyer with another random counter for absolutely no reason. And then here's more sink, kind of this little kitchen thing without anything that a kitchen's supposed to have. And that's the living room. And then if you go into the bedroom, this is where the magic doesn't happen because I'm 40 and divorced. But it's beautiful view. Here we go. Get the chance to go to the Gaylord anywhere. They're all big and they're all beautiful. And here's another bathroom because you need 2 bathrooms. Everybody knows. And that was it. That was my I don't know what you can call that. I just think it's a cool hotel. It's a cool event. If you want to come check out the Driven Mastermind here in Nashville, hit me up, message me. I'll get you the details. Otherwise, thank you for tuning in. I go live every single day, business day at 6 p.m. Eastern.